Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of KJ's What Happened. It's on a Tuesday night. I know it feels kind of weird, doesn't it? I don't know. Does anybody do anything on a Tuesday night? Maybe this is the perfect night. I'm not sure. I'm still trying to decide. So, you guys, let me know what works for you. Eventually, I may move this back to a weekend, or I need to start doing other shows anyway. Maybe do something else on the weekend. I'm not sure. But that's not our concern right now. I have got some real good ones to show you this week. I think I've got good ones every week, but there's a couple that really stand out this time around. So let's take a look at the week back, the week in the weird, the random, the sublime, the strange, and everything in between. I'll go ahead and get started. Thanks again for being here, too. I hope you're doing well out there. Settle in, and I hope you enjoy the show. Enjoy the news. Mother of two punches Lindsay Lohan over child abduction bid. This whole thing's really weird in this story. Mean Girls actor Lindsay Lohan is back in the news. The one-time teen idol currently in Russia posted an unsettling video of her interacting with a family she claimed came from war-torn Syria. Hey everyone, I just want to show you a family that I met, she said in the video, a Syrian refugee family that I'm really worried about. They really need help. You want to come with me? Come with me. I'll take care of you guys, she can be heard saying in Arabic and English. So she speaks Arabic. Who knew? I didn't know that. Do you want to stay in a hotel tonight? Do you want to watch movies? It would be so cool to watch a movie on a TV or a computer, she then said to the child. Let's see how much of this we can hear for ourselves. I think this is the clip. And then we'll... Guys,
you're going the wrong way. My car's here.
Here we go. Check it out.
Look what's happening. They're trafficking children. Shala, I won't leave until I take you.
That's Lindsay Lohan. Speaking Arabic.
Don't fuck with me.
That wasn't Arabic.
Hey kids. This is the Arab. This is not Arab. You're ruining Arab culture by doing this. You're taking these children. They want to go. I'm Steve. I'm with you. Boys, don't worry. The whole world is seeing this right now. Hello. I will walk forever. I stay with you. I don't worry. Is he your son? From Pakistan. Don't fuck with Pakistan. Give me your Yes. I'm like in shock. They were dropped on me, and I'm just so scared. Literally.
Okay, so let's go and continue reading. If you could keep up with that. It's weird, right? So I guess she tried to grab one of the kids and she got hit. Let's see what it says. She said, so Lohan proceeds to follow the family as they get up to leave. Look what's happening. They're trafficking children. You're ruining Arabic culture by doing this. I'm with you, boys. Don't worry. This is all her saying this. The whole world is seeing this. Are you from Pakistan? Lohan is punched in the face by the mother of the children after she attempts to take one of the boys. So, I mean, where do you go with this one? Right? It is really weird that she seemed to speak really good Arabic when she did. I don't know. I can only speculate, but it makes me think about, I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but there's a big ring between Hollywood and Saudi Arabia and some of the wealthiest people in the Middle East. They have access to a lot of Hollywood celebrities. You've probably heard some of these stories. You've heard them for years. I did a video way back. Somebody claimed to be an insider, but they had some really interesting information, and a lot of it had to do with stuff like this. You know, a lot of times you'll see these beautiful Hollywood actresses maybe show up in a couple movies or do a TV series for a couple seasons and they disappear. And this is where a lot of time, this is where it seems that some of them go, is to the Middle East, and they make good money. And, you know, I'm sure they're used and abused for that money, but some people will do anything for money. Go figure, right? So with Lindsay Lohan, I'm just kind of speculating. I mean, I don't know for sure, but why else? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But she did film herself trying to kidnap a child, it would seem. So that was strange. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Anyway, I guess let's move on. Freak accident at Jack in the Box drive-thru kills Missouri man. Is this a news story? Let's see. See if there's a clip. I think there's a clip. It's taking too long. All right. Well, there you go. Okay. Might as well read it. I thought there might be a news story on this. Anyway, a St. Louis man died in a freak accident Wednesday while purchasing food at a Jack in the Box drive-thru window. Charles Wood Jr., 20, of Velda said he pulled up to the drive-thru window at an angle around 10 p.m., so he needed to open the car door and lean out to pick up his order, police said. But as he reached for his food, the car accelerated backwards and pinned Wood against a tree. Wood suffered severe injuries to his head, neck, torso, and legs and was later pronounced dead at the hospital. And that's pretty much the story. Death by drive-thru, I guess, is kind of the story here, and it's kind of crazy. That happened. Anyway, it's about all we know for now. So let's move on. This one just file under the end of polite society as we know it. I don't know. There's lots of different tags you could probably file this under, but it appears to be a family in front of their children, or some, I believe, mothers in front of their children at Disneyland. Is it Disneyland? Yeah. Twerking with Mickey and Minnie. So not going to watch a lot of this, just a little bit. But so there we go, guys. Keeping it classy. Got your kids right there. Mommy, I'm ready to go. With Mickey and Minnie. There's Mickey over there. Getting it. Okay. This is good. American culture. You may be from another country and just watching this and never been to America. This is America right here. This happens everywhere in America. I'm just kidding. This is everywhere in America. This is happening. Every corner you turn, there's somebody twerking. It's not that bad yet, but still, figured I'd share that. That is exactly what you're in for when you come to America. If you're from another country, lots of people twerking. Cannibal wife suspected of eating up to 30 people's faces. Jail over waitress murder. It's weird. Somebody doesn't know how to write. This is the Express. I mean, it's a known paper. I'm not saying they're actually really maybe tell the truth all the time, but Cannibal wife suspected of eating up to 30 people faces jail. Okay, I see. Up to 30 people. I'm the dumb one here. I'm being dumb. Okay, I thought it was that she had been eating people's faces. Now I see. Suspected of eating up to 30 people, space, pause, faces jail over waitress murder. I got it. Okay, are you with me? I hope so. A woman who reportedly confessed to killing and eating dozens of victims with her husband faces up to 15 years in jail if convicted. Natalia Baksheva, 43, has been charged on one count of goading her spouse into murdering one of the victims. Her husband, Dmitry Bakshev, 35. So her name is Baksheva and he's Bakshev. Again, I don't know if is it me? I'm missing something here. 35. He's nicknamed the Devil. Interesting. Is suffering from tuberculosis, and his role in the macabre Russian murder and cannibalism case will be dealt with at a later hearing. Police found a gruesome collection of steamed and frozen human remains from their final victim, a 35-year-old waitress, in the couple's kitchen. At least one jar with pickled human remains and 19 slices of skin were also discovered. Baksheva has been charged with inciting her husband to kill Elena Vashrusheva, who she believed was flirting with him. Okay. I think that's grim enough, but anyway, here's the people, the killers. He's nicknamed the Devil. So no surprise they're going to be up to some really terrible, terrible things here. Anyway. The Halloween story, I guess. It's October now. It's a scary story. Scary, true-ish story. This is the really scary stuff here, though. Death by selfie is on the rise, with 43 people killed every year taking risky vanity snaps. And millennial men are the most likely to die. An average of 43. Okay, we got that. The study shows that men account for 7 in 10 of these fatalities, while millennial daredevils, those aged 20 to 29, make up almost half of selfie deaths. Scientists suggest no selfie zones should be established across the globe to curtail the epidemic of accidental deaths. A number of popular tourist spots in India have already implemented selfie bans this year following a string of recent fatalities. Study lead author Dr. Agam Bansal from the India Institute said selfies are themselves not harmful, but the human behavior that accompanies selfies is dangerous. Individuals need to be educated regarding certain risky behaviors and risky places where selfies should not be taken. This is that mixing of reality and fantasy. You've seen this before. That's why it's actually the rise of a whole genre of YouTube videos. It's the public fail or the public, or the cringe type videos where people just pull their cameras out and they're filming violent acts, crime, all kinds of stuff. They're just filming it. And oftentimes they're not doing anything about it. They're not trying to help. They're just sitting there filming. And there's plenty of stories of people doing this. Even when someone's being murdered right in front of them, there'll be people out there filming and not helping. So that's what this reminds me of. They have to tell us now that selfies might hurt you. They have to explain that you can't, just because you're holding the phone out, maybe you can't make that jump. Maybe you shouldn't be on that ledge. You're not in a virtual, magical, mysterious world. You're in the real world. And there's consequences, to our actions. So there you go. Almost half of all selfie deaths occurred in 20 to 29 year age group, followed by 36% of deaths in the 10 to 19 year age group. The highest number of deaths has been reported in India, with the state of Goa bringing in official no selfie zones in June this year, followed by Russia, the USA, and Pakistan. The research team called for better reporting of selfie-related mishaps. They said selfies are never reported as an official cause of death. It is believed the selfie deaths are underreported and the true problem needs to be addressed. Pretty wild, huh? Whoa. Is that real? Look at that picture. Okay. Yeah. Not a good idea. Selfie deaths. That they do have a point. I mean, a lot of people have accidents looking at their phones. It's not even a selfie thing necessarily, but just phones in general, that technology in general, right in the palm of your hand. You know, it's just the ultimate distraction. And it does keep you in that augmented kind of reality mindset. You know, like Pokemon Go, you know, kind of brings the two together, our world and theirs, you know, keeps you in that kind of nothing's real, everything's an illusion kind of a thing. And you add to that all the psyops taking place in this world right now and all the deception. It's just no wonder some people are really losing it, you know? Man given a 50,000, is that dollar? It's dollar? Quid? Is that what they use? Man given 50,000 bionic penis collapsed at home and spent 5 days unconscious in hospital just a week after having intercourse for the first time. A man who had sex for the first time at the age of 45 after being fitted with a bionic wiener collapsed unconscious at home just a few days later and has been rushed back to hospital. Andrew Wardle, who was born with a congenital abnormality, is in hospital in Manchester undergoing keyhole surgery on his gallbladder. It is the latest in a string of operations for Andrew, who was born with bladder extrophy. His lower abdominal wall had not formed properly. His terrified girlfriend, Phaedra, found him on the floor and took him to hospital, where he remained unconscious for 5 days. The couple had booked a romantic break to Amsterdam for his birthday, but did not wait for the break for Andrew to lose his virginity. There he is. There's the guy. His publicist told Mail Online he had a fever for days and was vomiting. They thought he had a neurovirus. He was supposed to be catching a train down to London and do an interview with This Morning, but Phaedra rang to say she found him unconscious. She was terrified. She has no family here to rely on. I think we get it. It's been quite terrifying. Their biggest worry was that the damage had been caused by having sex, but it was a gallbladder issue. Well, that destroys the whole story basically right there. Okay. Gallbladder issue. Just happened to be a week after having sex for the first time. All right. Got it. I think this is a news story. An actual clip. A clip we can watch together. There you go.
Dozens of lives were lost to Hurricane Florence, and billions will be spent over the years to try to rebuild the East Coast. It's a new normal in the era of superstorms. But this Dutchman, from a city below sea level, says there's a solution for America. Invest and innovate, or...
Okay, well, that has nothing to do with the story, but anyway, a bad science fiction movie. Large aggressive mosquitoes swarm North Carolina City after Florence. North Carolina City, dealing with fallout from Hurricane Florence, has been swarmed by aggressive mosquitoes. I just put this one in there. It reminded me of we had a story up maybe it was last week or at least a few weeks ago about swarms of I believe it was mosquitoes in Russia, right? So just interesting. I'm pretty sure it was mosquitoes. But same thing. There were towns having issues with just massive swarms of these things, these insects. So 3 times larger. So by aggressive mosquitoes, nearly 3 times larger than regular mosquitoes. One resident, Robert Phillips, describes their rise as a bad science fiction movie. It also reminds me of a while back they came out like in public with the technology they had where they have these little mosquito drones, right? It was either mosquito drones, or they also had a story about genetically modified mosquitoes. You guys remember any of this stuff, or is it just me kind of? I'm pretty sure those stories have popped out over the last year or so. So you see stories like this, people are saying, wow, it was like, it wasn't a regular mosquitoes. It was swarms of mosquitoes 3 times the size of, right? It was like something out of a movie. What if they use natural occurrences? Even if, what if it's really that crazy and they're creating all the weather issues, creating all the storms, and inside of these storms, they're doing these other tests on people, putting out all these mosquitoes that may be genetically modified, or maybe there's some kind of little drones that can deliver, whatever to people. I know, we're getting crazy here, but this is what we do. Welcome to the show. North Carolina State University entomology professor Michael Riskind told the Fayetteville Observer that Florence's floodwater had caused eggs from mosquito species such as that one to hatch. These mosquitoes, often called gallinippers, are known for their painful bite and often lay eggs in low-lying damp areas. The eggs lie dormant in dry weather and hatch as adults following heavy rains. Riskind said the state has 61 mosquito species, and when the flood comes, we get many, many billions of them. Okay. There you go. Swarms of mosquitoes in North Carolina. This one right here is this is one of those that, things that make you go, and scratch your head. This one's pretty crazy. I've seen it shared in other places under other names. I think this is the original, though. And it was just somebody was driving along, seems to be a country road, and they see this whatever on the side of the road. So I'm going to make this bigger. We'll watch it a few times. I've seen it uploaded under other names, this particular clip. And all kinds of ideas of what this could be. But, what do you think about this? So we'll watch it a few times. Here we go. Weird, right? Hopping. Some people think it's, some kind of a creature we've never seen before. Some think it's something supernatural. Some say it's an animal caught in some kind of a trap or something. Just some of the ideas I've seen put out there. I wish they got closer. Maybe followed this thing a little more. I don't know. It's just hard to say, huh? Anyway, you can check it out for yourself and do what I did and just sit there and run it over and over and over again. I did that for a while the first time I saw this. Strange thing caught on camera at Cat Burglar Nami, their channel. Let's see what some people are saying down here. Really strange. 10 seconds. I don't know. Yeah, check it out. It's kind of weird. Have you seen this one? I think, this is the new one. Skull-shaped asteroid will pass by Earth after Halloween. Some call it the Death Comet. Oh, and they say it here in the story. 3 years ago, I actually, let me see here. I think I've got another window open somewhere here. There it is. I'm going to shut that. Because I was going to mention this story from 2015. They already do it right here. So 3 years ago, a spooky skull-shaped death comet shot past Earth on Halloween night. Now it's back. It won't actually be passing us on Halloween this year. The asteroid, officially named 2015 TB145, will pass closest to Earth around November 11th. But it might still get close enough to give you a fright. Anyway. There you go. Too bad they don't have a picture. Guess there's that. There you go. What do you think? Is this just some made-up story? Some new distraction to keep you spooked around Halloween? Or is this a real thing? Is this, God showing his sense of humor a little bit, perhaps? I don't know. You decide. So, a lot of times we'll find similar story ideas out there here on my show, week after week. Sometimes I'll find these kind of trends, and it seems that the goats are back. Find a lot of stories on the goats, and I just feel that's a reflection of our Baphomet reality, the beast system manifesting all this Baphomet stuff, transgender stuff, all of it. It's all around us, right? It keeps showing up in movies, the symbolism, and in TV shows. There was a TV show called The Sinner, and it just ended maybe a week or so ago. The Sinner, Sinner, and this was the second season. I started watching it because it had to do with a cult, but they never, in all the episodes, really went that deep into the cult. They talked about rituals and things like this, but they never really showed much. But the very opening sequence of the show, like the first 20 seconds before the show starts, they have this sequence that plays out, and it's kind of like a Rorschach test. But at one point, there's Baphomet symbolism that pops up, and there's nothing blatantly satanic about the show at all. They never talk about devil worship in this cult or anything like that, but they have that symbolism there. So like I said, it's everywhere. So I always kind of see this proliferation of goat stories, random too. Dwarf goats becoming LA's biggest party animals. Spanky and Pippin are literally party animals in the LA nightlife scene. The Nigerian dwarf goats are professional partygoers bringing their special brand of magic to city celebrations and starry soirees. So-called goat mom, Scout Raskin, a lifelong animal lover and former child actor, set up Party Goats LA in early 2017 and charges $99 an hour to bring her goats to a party or event. One of the most popular interactions with the goats at parties is to have them jump onto revelers' backs while they kneel on all fours. It sounds fun, right? Student Torian Mylot, 20, said the experience was fun and therapeutic. They're so friendly, and they're just so nice to be around because you can definitely tell they love humans, and they're just a lot of fun, she said. Despite being the same breed and age, the goats have very different personalities. Usually people at parties have their favorites. Some people love Pippin because he's really cute, but he's the cute dumb one, Raskin said. And then some people really like Spanky because he's more chill and quiet, and they feel like they can connect with him more. We're not going to get much more out of that story. Really, it's just the symbolism I see with this kind of stuff. But LA party goats, right? Would you ever rent goats out for $100 an hour to show up and hang out? Does that make sense? Seriously. Is that something people do? Is that something normal people would do? Pay $100 for an hour to have some goats come over? I don't know. Media covers up horrific Somali riot in Minnesota just before midterms. I'm not sure what to think about this story. Maybe some of you internet sleuths can look into this as well. Apparently, it took place in Minnesota on Saturday, September 22nd, 2018, opening night for the Valley Fair Amusement Park's seasonal Halloween celebration turned into a total chaos. Police and emergency responders had to evacuate all guests due to numerous fights after a mob of Somali teenagers and men rushed through security and caused several violent fights to break out inside the park. The media and police prefer to gloss over the details of the incidents, arguing that they don't want to offend the Muslim Somali population or influence the upcoming election. Valley Fair spokeswoman Kelsey Bailey said that incidents required assistance from police and were quickly addressed. It's kind of a long article, but it's interesting. I get the mainstream media covers up this kind of stuff. You know, it's just a part of the agenda. They don't want to seem like racists, you know. If this in fact did happen, and if in fact it was a large, you know, mob of Somali people, I mean, we need to know this. That's important information. It is. But it didn't quite come out in the mainstream. According to eyewitnesses who were at the park that night to celebrate Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, a group of nearly 100 Somali men mob rushed past security and amusement park staffers at the front entrance and proceeded to run through the park and instigate fights among themselves and with guests. And I'm saying this is important because of the immigration aspect of it. Again, you know, that's an issue, and it's happening worldwide right now. Cliff Hallberg, who was inside the park, in this particular case, okay, Cliff Hallberg, who was inside the park with his children at the time, the fights broke out, said it was very frightening for his children. I saw about 60 Somali teenagers push their way through lines and scream at guests. This looked like a targeted attack on law enforcement, Hallberg added. Here's a Facebook post. Just left Valley Fair, several Somalians fighting, knocking over Halloween props, knocking people over, terrorizing young children. Valley Fair shut down, Somalians pushing kids over, running from police in the parking lot in circles. I stood in front of about 15 lost and terrified young children until their parents could find them. The Shakopee Police Department, though, denied that any Somalis had been involved in the incident. No, it wasn't a Somalian riot, responded directly on its Facebook page to those who claimed that the violence was prompted by Somali gangs. The department went on to say, we had no evidence whatsoever that there was any specific gang affiliation with this incident. Okay. Anyway, you can check this out if you want to for yourself. It's kind of a long article. Media covers up horrific Somali riot in Minnesota just before midterms. I don't know how legit this is. This is one of the first things I found on this story. I'm going to do some more looking into it as well. But if you guys find anything, you know, let me know. Let us know in the comments or in the chat. Boy 13 arrested, cuffed, and dragged from school over Me Too allegations. Started off an ordinary day for 8th grader Keith Bailey until he was summoned by administrators into the vice principal's office at Colorado Springs, Colorado Middle School. He was confused and shaken. Keith had never been in trouble at school before, save for one minor incident months ago, when he made an inappropriate remark that a fellow student looked like a school shooter. This time it was much more serious. For over 2 hours on Wednesday afternoon, alone in her office, the vice principal grilled Keith. He said they kept asking him the same things over and over. They were just intimidating him, asking him the same thing in different ways, asking what he did to these girls and why he did it to them. Why did you do it? What did you do? When did you do it? Keith's father, Dennis Bailey, says they were vague the whole time. They never asked anything specific. Only after the 2-hour inquisition did the school phone Keith's parents to let them know he was being suspended. But before they did that, they called the police. By the time Keith's father showed up at the school, his son was being cuffed and put into the back of a police car as a crowd of students stood by ogling the scene. The Baileys asked that I not publish the name of the school or the arresting officer. Okay. I don't even know about this one because, see, here's another one that didn't really make mainstream news. I found it on a couple just kind of websites like this. So that's why I put this one up there too, because I'm not sure what to think. You know, if you guys could maybe find something on this as well, you know, that this actually happened, be interesting. According to Keith and his family, it all started a week ago when Keith and his friends were sitting around his house talking about online anonymity. Keith decided to change his Snapchat avatar into a black Bitmoji character. One of his friends, a girl, immediately noticed and within minutes told him he needed to change it back. She said it was insensitive and racist for a white person to use a black character as an avatar. Keith, stubborn as any 8th grader, laughed it off and said he wasn't going to change it. The next day at school, the girl, according to Keith, then started telling everyone he was a racist. The harassment and accusations persisted for days. Other students began threatening to beat up Keith, saying they were going to jump him after school for being racist. And the girl and 3 other female classmates took it to the next level, appearing to take a page from the Feinstein handbook on how to destroy your political enemies. They appeared before the vice principal to accuse Keith of sexual harassment and assault stemming back to the summer. Keith had been friends with 2 of the girls. They attended youth group together at their church. They hang out all the time. If he had been maliciously touching them since back in the summer, then they wouldn't be going out of their way to walk by our house to go to school together. They go to youth group together. They carpool together. To any reasonable person, I'd think that these allegations would be obviously ridiculous. But apparently, there aren't any reasonable people anymore, Dennis says. I'll take a drink. Come on. I wet my whistle. Does anybody ever use that term anymore? So yeah, so there's this. Well, they say there's a legal defense fund for their son. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Again, I'm not saying this actually happened. I don't know for sure. They do have a fund up for him. Keith was arrested at school today for sexual misconduct and harassment. He made a girl mad on Snapchat, so she and her friends reported him for sexual assault. I mean, if it's not a true story, that's obviously really uncool. I don't know. I don't know if it's... They say, update, we've exceeded our goal thanks to tremendous support and an amazing article written by Chadwick Moore for dangerous.com. All right. We have now retained an excellent attorney, better than we had originally hoped for. I cannot begin to express our gratitude for all the support. I'm leaving the fundraiser up for the duration to cover costs if we decide to pursue civil litigation after we win the criminal case. If we decide not to pursue civil litigation, whatever is left over will be split up between someone else's defense and Keith's 529 college fund. Okay. There you go. I'm not sure. I don't know. But it could happen. It could definitely happen. Boy falls from 10th floor apartment, saved from certain death by neighbor's lucky catch. I think there's a video of this. Darn, I don't think I can make it much bigger. Let's see. Anyway, watch closely. It's a little boy hanging off the side, the window there. Now you see the guy come out underneath him. The anticipation's killing me. Come on, kid, drop already. There he is. Okay. And then you see the catch. So there you go. We're glad he got caught. That's good. There you go. Just thought I'd share that. This one's pretty wild. No place to hide Facebook smart home device with facial recognition. Facebook is planning to announce a new home assistant device called Portal. That's interesting. Portal, with a controversial facial recognition camera. This is significant because not even Amazon's Echo or Google's own smart home device has a facial recognition camera built in. Recently embroiled in scandals the past few months, Facebook has been facing blowback from allowing its users' data to be shared with political consultation firm Cambridge Analytica and other firms like it. Well, that's good to know. Shockingly, Facebook further admitted other privacy violations when they said in April that it scans its users' photos and links posted on the social media giant and will review text you send if something is flagged. Despite this, Facebook plans on introducing a video chat on Portal that will use facial recognition to tag users and follow them around the room. What could go wrong? Although, according to the report, the device will have a privacy shutter. Okay, we trust you. We'll have a privacy shutter to disable the camera's tracking, but the facial recognition camera may just be the biggest mistake for the company. Recent polls in the U.S. have shown that Americans don't trust Facebook to protect their personal information, so why would they trust them with a facial recognition camera? Portal is expected to come in two variants, small and large screen sizes for $300 and $400 respectively. This comes as more and more facial recognition cameras are being pushed into society, with Amazon helping law enforcement with its facial recognition software, DHS wanting to use it for border control, and the Olympics wanting to use the tech for security. Even retail is pushing the technology as an anti-theft mechanism to be introduced in a number of stores using biometric facial recognition software Face First to build a database of shoplifters, as activist posts reported. We are entering the minority report. There is no going back after this technology is public and citizens are indoctrinated that it's for their safety. At that point, we are officially trading liberty and privacy for security. As Benjamin Franklin said, those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. However, there are key problems with the technology mismatching faces. As an example, recently, the American Civil Liberties Union of North California tested Amazon's facial recognition software, and the program erroneously and hilariously identified 28 members of Congress as people who've been arrested for crimes. But that's far from the only instance where the technology has failed to correctly identify a person. Facebook's Portal will further the agenda by pushing this flawed technology into the public for wide-scale acceptance. One has to wonder if Facebook would then work with law enforcement to identify individuals. It's a known fact that Facebook has handed data to governments worldwide. This reminds me of the time former CIA Director David Petraeus said, "We will spy on you through your dishwasher." There you go. We're going to spy on you through your dishwasher. It's so weird that that's a reality now. Like, it would make sense to me they make some kind of a smart dishwasher. They probably already do. And it can connect to your smart grid in your home. And it can watch you and it can report things, or you can tell it when to wash or whatever, when to turn off. Weird. Make it play a song. Ask it a question. Woman's demon-filled boyfriend is charged with murder and abuse of a corpse after her remains were discovered in a fire pit at their house by her suspicious family. According to the Akron Beacon Journal, Freetag's family were searching around her property last Thursday when her cousin, Angela Nottingham, spotted burnt paper, including a piece bearing the word Jehovah. It's always interesting. That's one thing when I first saw this one story, that they have these things in. I always wonder how these stories are coded, some of them. Daily Mail always seems really suspect. Not every story. It's just, you've seen some of these in the shows in the past. It just makes you wonder. So, including a piece bearing the word Jehovah. She posted on Facebook, "Not everyone would think that much of that, but I knew if Robin was alive and well, that she would never allow anyone to burn her Bible." After weeks of fruitless searching for their missing relative, the family started digging through ash and loose dirt in the fire pit, a shallow grave in her backyard. The Summit County Medical Examiner has identified the human remains as those of Martha Robin Freetag, but has not published details of how long her corpse had been in the pit or how she died. Callahan has been arraigned in Akron Municipal Court. However, he was already in Summit County Jail on unrelated charges. Court records dating back to 1989 for crimes committed in Akron show that Callahan previously pleaded guilty to offenses such as criminal trespass, theft, and drug abuse. He has not as yet been offered bail on the murder charge. Okay. Where's the demon boyfriend part? All right, so there you go. The story wasn't quite as interesting as I thought it would be. Guys, they can't all be winners, okay? We try. But every now and then, how about this one? Mystery is dozens of voodoo dolls spiked with needles appeared nailed to properties across Russian city overnight. Creepy voodoo dolls spiked with needles have appeared across a Russian city. The sudden appearance of the sinister-looking voodoo dolls spooked many residents around Zavetny. Pensioners reportedly complained of blood pressure problems after seeing the haunting mannequins at dozens of locations in the city not far from the border with Georgia. Residents called for an explanation for the dozens of weird dolls which appeared overnight, and many complained to police. Pretty creepy, though. Check that out. Several of the dolls were eyeless or one-armed, and some were dressed in girls' clothes or school uniforms. Head of the local council, Dmitry Barkov, said, "We have urgently brought together police officers to instruct them to calm people. Police are studying CCTV cameras to try and identify who distributed the dolls around the area, even though planting voodoo dolls is not a crime." One local complained, "Creepy dolls are nailed to the pillars, fences, and bus stops in Zaventny on the outskirts of Armavir. The little girl mannequins are pierced with needles and tied with black threads." I mean, this could be some kind of a ritual, perhaps. You guys think? What do you think? Just maybe just a group of kids getting creative and being creepy and spooky around the Halloween season. Another householder added, "Two were sitting at a bus stop. A doll in a pink ball gown was found in the park." A local also warned, "A curse has been put on our village." A local security officer has admitted dumping the mannequins, the same size as a child, at a local tip, but denied leaving them outside houses. Tatiana Kokoreva, I think, claimed they belonged to a local culture museum and were previously used in a puppet theater. They were no longer needed, and the security officer thought her daughter, a teacher, could use them. But the school rejected them as unsafe and too scary, so she dumped them. She insisted she was not responsible for dressing them up as voodoo dolls. And that right there, that could be a story right out of Tales from the Crypt or any other kind of horror anthology story you could see out there. Couldn't it? The dolls were no longer needed and tossed away, and then, this is when they came back. I mean, right there. There's some pictures. That is pretty creepy. What do you think? Oh, this one's pretty classic. I think we get to watch a clip here. Star Wars actress mocks Kavanaugh accuser Christine Blasey Ford. I thought this was kind of funny here. Let me see. There it is. So apparently she got into some trouble for this. Twitter deleted her account. And the news, I saw some news stories earlier. There's a lot of Star Wars people associated with Star Wars coming out and really chastising this lady for this. But I thought it was pretty funny. So check this out. This has to do with the Kavanaugh hearings. And this is his accuser, Christine Blasey Ford. This is a Star Wars animated voice actress making fun of her.
I don't know if anybody is listening to the Dr. Blasey Ford testimony about Brett Kavanaugh, but this is how I sound. I know it's a surprise to even me that I talk this way, and I'm a doctor and a grown woman. I sound like I'm still back at that high school party. I can't help it. I just have this kind of a voice, like a baby, even though I'm a doctor and I'm on this media circus, political stage, and I have kids myself. I don't know why I speak with vocal fry, but you can listen to my testimony and hear that a grown woman sounds this way. Dr. Blasey Ford, thank you.
What do you think? Anyway, yeah, you can look that story up now. So there's a lot of people coming out and really hating on her for it, but I thought it was pretty classic. Spot on. Enjoyable. That whole charade, right? Wow. Unbelievable. Web inventor Tim Berners-Lee's startup wants to restore people's control over their data. Other headlines are saying he's basically creating a new internet. This is the guy they say created the internet. His project, Solid, is based on personal empowerment through data. World Wide Web, well, say that 3 times fast. World Wide Web pioneer Tim Berners-Lee's startup, Inrupt, aims to bring data back to the people. The computer scientist announced Inrupt's open source project, Solid, in a weekend blog post. It's a platform based on the existing web that gives you control over your personal information and allows you to decide where it's stored, who can view different elements, and which apps can access it. Solid changes the current model where users have to hand over personal data to digital giants in exchange for perceived value. As we've all discovered, this hasn't been in our best interests, he wrote. Anyway, there you go. It's kind of a cool story, right? Be a fun one to watch. See where this story goes. See if he pulls it off. BBC publishes video showing 6-year-olds being made to write gay love letters to promote diversity. The video features 6-year-olds writing letters from one male story character to another male story character, imploring him to marry the other. Featuring pupils from Bewsey Lodge Primary School, which is in Warrington, in England's Cheshire region, the video shows children pen a note from Prince Henry to his servant Thomas. The student's teacher, Sarah Hobson, told the BBC what was happening in the video, which, at the time of this writing, has been viewed more than 180,000 times. This class of 6-year-olds is learning about gay marriage. In this fairy tale, the prince wants to marry his male servant, and the children are writing a love letter, Hobson said. She noted that she believes it's important for children to learn about gay marriage at such a young age to indoctrinate them, because those same children would go into that world and find this diversity around them and they'll find that out at a young age as well. The more children can be accepting at this age, you're not going to face it further on because the children will be accepting now and will be accepting this diversity around them, she added. According to Busey Lodge Primary School's website, the school teaches PSHE, which stands for Personal, Social, and Health Education. Under the PSHE umbrella, topics like transgenderism, sexuality, and relationships are discussed. PSHE is taught from nursery age to year 6. Additionally, the school has non-gender specific uniforms. Okay. There you go. It's for the kids. Kids, hurry up. We're going to be late for school. Christian University sanctions student same-sex relationships, creates LGBT safe space. A California Christian university has capitulated to much of the homosexual agenda by revising its code of conduct to permit same-sex relationships, recognizing a campus support group for LGBTQ students, and creating a safe space for LGBT students, all while claiming that nothing has really changed. Effective this semester, Azusa Pacific University removed language from its student standard of conduct agreement that prohibited public LGBTQ relationships for students on campus, reported Zoo Media, the school's student news website. As an evangelical institution, APU still adheres to the biblical principles of human sexuality, the belief that sexual union is intended by God to take place only within the marriage covenant between a man and a woman, remains a cornerstone of the university's foundation. The change, the website noted, is a result of much dialogue between students and administrators. Student groups, including the Student Government Association and the underground LGBT support group Haven, have been pressuring the administration to change its policy on LGBT relationships for some time now, but particularly since a university employee sued the school last year, claiming he'd been subjected to physical and verbal abuse because other employees falsely believed he was homosexual. Aaron Green, co-executive director of Brave Commons, which describes itself as an intersectional, queer, and POC, people of color-led Christian organization seeking to provoke a movement of faith and justice in the academy and beyond, that's a mouthful, coordinated many of the conversations between students and administrators. We thought it was unfair to single out queer folks in same-sex romantic relationships while it is impossible to enforce or monitor whether our students are remaining abstinent. Queer students are just as able to have romanticized relationships that abide by APU's rules. The code used falsely assumed the same-sex romances always involve sexual behavior. This stigmatization causes harm to our community, especially those serious about their Christian faith. And we get the gist. See some comments here. TL True writes, "It may be a university, but it ain't Christian. I would pull my son or daughter out of there lickety-split. I don't dislike homosexual people at all. I have pity for them living a life their creator would never want them to live." Paulette Revere says, "No. PC entering a Christian university, it can't be. It's very sad." A culture warrior says, "What's the problem here? People who call themselves evangelical Christians voted for and continue to support an unrepentant adulterer who, as my avatar shows, is proud supporter of the homosexual agenda. Jesus said that the gate to heaven is narrow. Good, because I don't like big crowds." Ayo. All right, there you go. Got a couple different opinions there. Share. This is gross. You may want to put the kids out for a little bit. I don't know if there's kids watching this. Anyway, Sussex University slammed for distributing sexist material to new students. This is, your kids are in college. Don't worry. They're going to be okay. Sussex University have asked first-year students if they spit or swallow on a promotional beer mat in their welcome packs. The ad for toothbrushes features a picture of a woman's mouth full of what could be toothpaste, or even, Here's the pictures. The UK university is now suffering the ire of social media users who are circulating pictures of the beer mat online. The third-level institution is now being accused of sexual harassment for allowing the distribution of the ad material, which Twitter users have dubbed degrading, intimidating, and just hateful towards women and girls. One furious person took to blog site Mumsnet to slam the university for including the offensive material. What a hostile, threatening environment for young women university has become. Feels as though we're rapidly regressing back to the atmosphere of a 70s working men's club. Get drunk and give oral. Oh, and make some lovely friends whilst you're at it. Ugh. The University of Sussex took to Twitter to fire back explanations to those hurling accusations over the sexually charged beer mats. The university pointed the finger at the student union for the decision. We can absolutely see why this promotional material in freshers packs has sparked such a strong reaction, the university said in an online statement, adding that they are sure that the student union will feed back the reaction to the company responsible. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I do get that point, though. That's really way over the top. And as that mother had said, I think it was a mother that, imagine your daughters, men, women out there, moms, dads out there. Imagine your teenage daughter showing up to university, and in her welcome pack, the freshman welcome pack, the student pack or whatever, she's got this, stuff like that. You spit or swallow. I mean, I get that. It's a little... Makeup artist embraces her acne by turning spots into stars. I don't know what to think about this. I thought it was interesting. We've seen Instagram influencers dedicated to positive depictions of acne, backlash to articles promoting clearing acne scars, and photo series responding to rude comments about people's skin. The latest moment of acne positivity comes from Rocio Cervantes, a 25-year-old makeup artist and vlogger. Rocio is gaining praise for her method of embracing her acne, turning her spots into stars, then throwing some bright color on her face while she's at it. Rather than trying to cover up spots and pretend they're not there, Rocio lets her acne peek through her foundation. She pops stickers in the shape of stars on top of her pimples while she applies her base so that her blemishes are left uncovered. Like many of us, Rocio hasn't always been comfortable with her skin. What do you think about that? Do you think that's a good idea? My experience with acne has honestly been rough, especially dealing with it online where sometimes people's comments can get to me. But over the years, I've learned that being open and vulnerable about my struggle with acne helps others with theirs and their confidence. I've been struggling with acne since I was 16 or 17. I am 25 now, so it's been a long journey. She's saying all that. That wasn't me speaking about myself. For the makeup artist and vlogger, turning her spots into stars is a way to show people that acne is not a barrier to beauty. I hope people can look at the picture and feel great about themselves, especially those that struggle with acne. All right. There you go. Rainbow Bright. Piers Morgan criticizes Tess Holliday's Cosmopolitan UK cover. What a load of old baloney. He's not a fan. Piers Morgan took issue with the October 2018 cover of Cosmo UK, which features model Tess Holliday. As Britain battles an ever-worsening obesity crisis, this is the new cover of Cosmo, the 53-year-old America's Got Talent alum wrote on Instagram Thursday, August 30th. Apparently, we're supposed to view it as a huge step forward for body positivity. What a load of old baloney. He concluded, this cover is just as dangerous and misguided as celebrating size 0 models. And there's the picture. Wow. Wowzers. I don't know what to think about that. Dangerous. I see dangerous. She's endangering herself. She's in danger. That's just me. In the glamorous cover shot, Holliday flaunts her curves in an emerald one-piece. The blurb on the cover reads, "A supermodel roars. Tess Holliday wants the haters to kiss her." The 33. 33's in a lot of these stories. I mean, I know sometimes it's just there, but the 33-year-old clapped back at her detractors on Twitter Thursday. "To everyone saying I'm a burden to the British healthcare system, I'm American, so you don't have to worry about my fat. Boop, boop." She tweeted, "Worry about what horrible people you are by whining about how me being on the cover of a glossy magazine impacts your small-minded life," she said. Holliday had previously shared how much being on the cover of the woman's magazine meant to her. "Phew, I'm literally a Cosmo girl. Can't believe I'm saying that," she tweeted on Wednesday, August 29th. "Thank you at Cosmo UK for this incredible opportunity. If I saw a body like mine on this magazine when I was a young girl, it would have changed my life. The Not So Subtle Art of Being a Fat Girl author opened up in June about the impact of changing her diet to help with her postpartum depression. I feel guilty," Holliday revealed to Shape at the time. "The amount of people who get thrust into the limelight and they're plus size, they lose weight. The more successful they get, the more weight they lose. It's hard because these people don't owe staying fat to anyone." There you go. Here she is. All right, so is this it? Okay, yeah. All right, let me see. So here's another one of those weird trends we find, at least I find in the news every week, and then I share with you guys, but it's Loch Ness monster stories. I love cryptozoology, love a good monster story, definitely a good monster sighting if there's a good one out there. UFO sightings, all that stuff. Count me in. It's the fallen angel evidence, however you want to look at that. The Loch Ness Monster. Been a lot of Loch Ness Monster things going on here lately. I mean, lots, man. I've seen a bunch. You know, we've covered this quite a few times. Here's one I found from 14th of September. Doctor believes he has snapped a new image of the Loch Ness Monster. Now, this isn't the one I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you a recent one next, but when I was looking up the recent one, I found this. I was like, oh, okay. It's not really a great picture. All right, but it looks like something. Maybe a piece of wood, maybe a bird, maybe the Loch Ness Monster. That's a tough one, but this is a really good one. Check this out. 9th official Loch Ness Monster sighting of 2018 spotted on Google Earth by Nessie hunting mum from USA. Lisa Stout made the startling discovery as she trawled the web in search of the mythical Scots beast. Really wish I could full-size this picture for you guys. And the image, taken 3 years ago in Fort Augustus, has now been accepted by officials as the 9th sighting of Nessie this year. Lisa, 31, from Bellevue, Ohio, said, "As a result of a recent loss of employment, I've had a lot of time open up. I had been searching for Nessie on and off for the past few weeks, spending an hour or so a week on Google Earth as well as other places I like to visit in the app. I had seen some of the latest Nessie sightings and thought that I could definitely find a better image of her than that, which I used for motivation to challenge myself to find her." I love that story, though. Isn't that great? I mean, this is a real internet sleuth. You know, the lady was thinking. She's like, I'll check out Loch Ness, Google Maps or Earth or whatever. It makes sense, you know. And then here she snaps this pic. I love it. I'm hoping more people are going to do this. You know, maybe they'll start finding more creatures out there, more Bigfoots. Ogopogo, you know, that's another Loch Ness type monster. I can't remember where he's at, or she, but it's a lot of these things. And I do believe the veil's lifting on so much. It's great, even on stuff like this, right? Man, I wish I could make those pictures bigger, though. That's her. Anyway, it's kind of a long story. I don't feel like reading the whole thing. That's kind of want to scroll through, but yeah, that's it. Let me see if I can get to the pictures here. Oh, okay, there we go. That's good. So cool. So check that out, man. What do you think? Look at that. It's described as, that's the body. You can see the body kind of parallel with the water. And then that's the neck sticking up, and you can see it looks like a mouth open at the very top, and then the right eye, it's like it's almost like you're seeing underneath its chin right now. Its neck's really long. It's up, and it's like we're seeing underneath its chin. So you see its mouth, and you see a little bit of the right side of its face, its eye. I mean, pretty amazing, I think. There's another shot of it. And that's her. All right. Cool story, bro. A controversial startup. I knew it wouldn't take long for something like this to happen. A controversial startup that charges $8,000 to fill your veins with young blood is opening its first clinic. A startup called Ambrosia Medical that charges $8,000 to fill your veins with the blood of young people plans to launch its first clinic in New York City at the end of this year. Founded by Stanford graduate Jesse Karmazin, the company recently completed the first clinical trial designed to access the benefits of young blood transfusions. Although his team has not yet published the results of the trial, Karmazin said the results were really positive. To startup founder and Stanford medical graduate Jesse Karmazin, blood is the next big government-approved drug. Karmazin recently launched Ambrosia Medical, a startup that fills the veins of older people with fresh blood from young donors, in the hopes that the procedure will help conquer aging by rejuvenating the body's organs. And this is an ancient practice. Isn't that interesting? The company plans to open its first clinic in New York City by the end of this year. In 2017, Ambrosia enrolled people in the first U.S. clinical trial designed to find out what happens when the veins of adults are filled with blood from the young. While the results of that study have not yet been made public, Karmazin told Business Insider's really positive. Because blood transfusions are already approved by the FDA, Ambrosia's approach has the green light to continue as an off-label treatment. There appears to be significant interest. Since putting up its website last week, the company has received roughly 100 inquiries about how to get the treatment. David Cavalier, Ambrosia's chief operating officer, told Business Insider. That led to the creation of the company's first waiting list, Cavalier said. So many people were reaching out to us that we wanted to make a simple way for them to be added to the list. With that in mind, Cavalier and Karmazin are currently scouting a number of potential clinic locations in New York City and organizing talks with potential investors. They hope to open the facility by the end of this year. New York would be the flagship location. This is going to be this comes out, it's really good. This could be huge. Like, this would be worthy of I'll do a video on this one. I'm just going to watch it and see what happens and see how real this goes. But this is a good one. It's a very important story. This one really stood out. There you go. So far, the company has already infused close to 150 patients, ranging in age from 35 to 92, with the blood of young donors. Of those, 81 participants in their clinical trial. The trial, which involved giving patients 1.5 liters of plasma from a donor between the ages of 16 and 25 over 2 days, was conducted with physician David Wright, who owns a private intravenous therapy center in Monterey. Before and after the infusions, participants' blood was tested for a handful of biomarkers or measurable biological substances and processes that are thought to provide a snapshot of health and disease. People in the trial paid $8,000 to participate. The company hasn't settled on a commercial price tag for the procedure yet. The trial was an investigational study. We saw some interesting things, and we do plan to publish that data. And we want to begin to open clinics where the treatment will be made available. Karmazin is right about the safety of blood transfusions and their capacity to save lives. A simple blood transfusion, which involves hooking up an IV and pumping the plasma of a healthy person into the veins of someone who's undergone surgery or been in a car crash, for example, is one of the safest life-saving procedures available. Every year in the U.S., nurses perform about 14.6 million of them, which means about 40,000 blood transfusions happen on any given day. All right. There you go. All right. Good article. Interesting. It's on Business Insider. I'm going to check that out. Let's see. It's this. Did you guys hear about this? I think this story went kind of mainstream because there's a lot of people that are PO'd at Kanye West for saying this. But Kanye West is such an interesting character anyway. Remember when he went to Trump Tower and they came out together like they're buds, and Kim Kardashian just went there and asked him to, I guess, get somebody out of jail, and he did it for her, right? Or he exonerated somebody, I'm pretty sure. So it's interesting stuff with these guys. But just beyond all that, it's still nice to see. And again, I know this is a partisan politics, Coke and Pepsi, false left-right paradigm. But, I still think it's funny to see this because we know that a lot of these hardcore left people are being triggered by this. And for whatever reason, that, brings me pleasure sometimes. I'm not sure why. But check this out.
You heard them, they scream at me. They bully me. They bullied me backstage. They said, don't go out there with that hat on. They bullied me backstage. They bullied me. And then they say, I'm in a sunken place. You want to see the sunken place? Okay. I'm going to listen to y'all now. I'm going to put my Superman cape on. And this means you can't tell me what to do. Follow your heart and stop following your mind. That's how we're controlled. That's how we're programmed. If you want the world to move forward, try love. Thank y'all for giving me this platform. I know some of y'all don't agree, but y'all be going at that man neck a lot, and I don't think it's actually that helpful. I think the universe has balance. 90% of news are liberal. 90% of TV, LA, New York, writers, rappers, musicians. So it's easy to make it seem like it's so one-sided. And I felt kind of free.
Anyway, there's that. I hope I don't get hit for playing that. It's hard to say sometimes, but anyway, hopefully that goes okay. If not, I'll have to edit it out. I've done a lot of these shows where I had to edit things out later, just because I played the wrong clip or whatever, or a song, but it doesn't happen all the time. It happens sometimes. Anyway, I just thought that was interesting. Hopefully you could hear what he was saying there. All right, let's see what else we got here. This is some footage from, let's see. Starts up. Here we go. It's the landslide near Palu, Indonesia. The footage is it's pretty wild here. Figured I'd share this. Check this out. I mean, can you imagine seeing this, like living through this, seeing the whole earth move around you and even underneath you? Check it. harrowing, right? Can you imagine? I just thought it was weird. ABC News, not weird. I guess, we should be used to stuff like this, but at least they're coming out more and more just out in the open. ABC News, U.S. white male Christians need to step back and give others room to lead. It's an opinion piece. No, I'm not going to read it, but just ugh. Ugh. More of this augmented reality. Norfolk's smart playgrounds harness the creative power of augmented reality. Slides, swings, monkey bars, and an augmented reality. A company is using technology to help lead kids away from screens and encourage outside play. The trick is mobile games on apps. Canada-based developer Biba puts the phone in the parent's hands and requires the parent to tell the children what to do for the game. Run around to interact with different characters, race across monkey bars, or crawl through a tunnel to find a treasure, for example. Biba has several apps with different themes, such as dinosaur digs, relay races, team games, and obstacle courses. The company's augmented reality markers are installed at 2 Norfolk playgrounds, Tidewater Park at Tidewater Elementary and Meadowbrook Park between West Little Creek and Trowville Avenue. Good to know. Okay, thank you. When scanned with the apps, the markers activate games and content. Children must be active for at least 80% of the game, according to Biba. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. And for this one, it's not really a story. It's a little story about a movie. So, some of you have been following my work for a real long time, and so you guys know my story. I've talked about my history a lot in the old Catching Up KJ shows, but I was really raised. My parents still go to church every Sunday, raised us in church, but even with that, my dad loves science fiction and horror. He likes science fiction more, both, really. So he raised me on the craziest science fiction horror films you can imagine. It's just all I saw. I even went to a college, film school for this, writing science fiction and horror and stuff like this. So anyway, so I know it's not for everybody. Some people are really sensitive to this stuff. There's some horror films I'm sensitive to, but it's not all of them. I don't like it's the torturous type. People are being tortured. I don't like the overly satanic type stuff or whatever. But in this case, this was like I said, I guess whatever kind of an exception. I wasn't sure what to expect by this, but the guy that made this, he made a movie called I think it's called Beyond the Black Rainbow, which is a real mind blower. You should talk about occult symbolism. I mean, this guy knows what he's talking about. It's one of those things where you see a film from a filmmaker and they put so much in, and it's stuff that we relate to, a lot of stuff we research even on my channel, the kind of symbolism, right? And what it really means. He understands occult symbolism. He understands MK Ultra, mind control type stuff as well. That was his first film. This one here, same thing, man. And I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if he is a Satanist filmmaker. I'm not sure. Now, again, I'm speculating here. I'm not trying to label this guy, but he definitely knows his stuff. And this movie would be worth a breakdown. Maybe sometime I'll do a breakdown on this. It's very interesting. It's crazy. It's bonkers. There's things about it I just loved. The geek in me. Again, I know it's not for all of you out there. Some people are very sensitive to these things. I'm not afraid of this stuff. That's just me. I don't, I'm not afraid of these movies and stuff. I know the power behind these things, but we see it. If you see it, it's not affecting you. It's the Holy Spirit. That's where that comes in my opinion, because this is a spiritual battle in that respect. But like I said, some people some people are affected by, just different things, man. We all have our own deal. But anyway, and my channel is called The Scariest Movie Ever because that's what the world is. So a lot of people do ask my opinion on horror films from time to time. And so I'm telling you, I would say check this one out. It's just bonkers. So there's things I think are just amazing about it. It's got a lot of occult symbolism, so that's why I'll probably have to watch it again and just kind of try to break some of this stuff down. A lot of symbolism. This guy definitely understands esoteric and occult type knowledge, for sure. I just don't know on what level. Again, you can only speculate, but it's deep, man. It goes to some really deep places. Then it goes to just some of the craziest, geekiest, over the top, just nutty places ever. So for the geeks out there that like horror and science fiction type stuff, this one's probably for you. Others, be careful. It's over the top violent at times, and that's about it, really. I guess that's the worst part of it. But anyway, so Mandy is the name of the movie, starring Nicolas Cage here. Mandy. Craziness. And then here's the other one. Let's see, Beyond, I think it was. The Black Rainbow. And there's Beyond the Black Rainbow. Lots of crazy symbolism in this one, too. Just some of the pictures there. Beyond the Black Rainbow. The cover. Really, really wild. This guy's a visionary. I mean, it's the other thing as I separate things. And, I see people's God-given gifts and I respect it. Even if they're not respecting it themselves for whatever reason, or they're using it for the wrong things, I can still say, wow, this person's got a beautiful gift to write, to sing, to, direct, to whatever. So there's a lot of things about this filmmaker, his God-given talent, that I respect. As for what side he's on, I'm not sure. You guys make up your own mind on that. He definitely has knowledge, though. But knowledge doesn't always mean you're bad, right? Or playing for the enemy. Anyway, I'm rambling. So that's all my stories for this week. Let me go check out the chat here. See how you guys are doing. Hey guys, hope you're well. I'm over here in the chat now. Just wanted to say thanks again for being here. Hope you like the show. Thanks for the mods. Appreciate you guys. Always doing a great job. Big shout out to my Patreon friends out there. Thank you guys so much. I dropped a new video earlier today. If you guys didn't know, please check that out. I'm pretty excited about that one. And a big shout out also to Silver Botanicals. It's another way you can support my work, guys. If you want to support the channel, support my shows, my videos, I'll leave a link below. Check out their essential oils. Check out some of their other household products. They're awesome. It also goes to supporting my work as well. So that's it, man. Anyway, thanks again. This is where I just kind of like start talking in circles. So I guess I'll let you go. But thanks again for being here, you guys. We'll do just a hangout show here soon, or we can just kind of hang out and talk, okay? But until then, God bless you, man. Thanks again for checking out the show. Take care, and I'll talk to you later. More videos and